a bit more operational, so that I would want everybody to please give your experiences, because I think theory books, I think all of them out here have studied and learned a lot. And like our, we could say, like the basic requirement of this panel discussion here is to understand when do we really want to grow, or where is the right move as per each of us, is when is the right time to grow a brand, or where is the right time expand it into a second concept. So I think starting with you, Gaurav, like my thing is, I'll give you my mic only. The thing is, you've come up with a cuisine that's unique. And for you, do you think the cuisine is the reason people are coming to you, or the experience that you've really created, and you're expanding left, right and center? So
I think my only reason to start Harajuku as a brand was to make Japanese more accessible to the country, more palatable to even the masses for that matter. And merging that with the experiential format that we run, with the sort of interiors that we have, or the conveyor belts that we have, both the cuisine and the experience as a combination is what has played instrumental role in shaping what we've become as a brand as of today. So I think cuisine alone or experience alone is not going to solve for a lot.
I have one question to ask you, that if you were planning to get something into retail, what of the cuisine would you really want to get? The bakery side or your sushis?
We are already getting into retail with the bakery. We'll be launching on quick commerce in the next few weeks now. And again, I'm a strong believer that restaurants have a competitive advantage when it comes to testing out a product. We have thousands of consumers that give us their trust in the product by the spends that they do on our food. We get real-time feedback, and that could really get into shaping a consumer brand going forward. So that's our plan as well.
Great. Just contrary, I have Aditya just sitting beside you. He's opening n number of brands. You're opening multiple of one, and he's opening n number. So I want to have your insight, and you've been in one location. So the beauty of your working that we've seen is you are in Bandra. Instead of multiplying your brands, you opened plenty brands in Bandra. So is there any reason for that, or how do you look at that?
No, so firstly, to answer the first half of your question, I have opened multiple brands. I'm a believer that we're serving in India to the Indians, and there's very few palates that we're educated with a lot of more palates. I mean, we've got a wide diverse of people that travel abroad, and they love all kinds of flavor. But what I've noticed is that when you're back home in your own country, you want that masaledar desi khana. So I've pretty much catered to that. So I've got a pasta bar where we've got pasta. It's artisanal, but it's still got a good amount of Indianized touch to it. There's still a lot of spice. And if you go to Italy, I was in Italy 20 days ago, and the kind of pasta you get there, and if they eat my pasta here, they'll get pissed off. But if we eat their pasta, we get pissed off. So I'm serving the people in India, so I'll take that. Other than that, what I really feel is that our palate is very comfortable with Indian, Chinese, Italian, a little bit of Lebanese, and so on and so forth. Which is why I ended up opening brands that will cater to us, because end of the day, it's about the business and it's about the money in the bank. And with the kind of real estate expensive, it's getting so expensive. So you need to, passion is there, but passion will not drive you that much if you don't make good amount of money. And then coming to the second part of your question of why Bandra, because again, in Bandra, a lot of affluent people live, and they're well traveled, and it's a great spot to do R&D and trial and error. And you can always get a Bandra brand to Borivali or Thane or wherever, but it's tough to get a brand from there here, because there's a lot of clout here, and there's so much in terms of marketing that you can do here, and you can pretty much open any store, and then if your product is good, it can really blow up. A brand that is a month old also can get traction that many years old legendary brands also don't get that kind of footfall. And then taking that to another micro area, it gets easier. So which is why I'm playing around with my cuisines in this area and then taking them to smaller areas, and that's the plan. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good plan that somebody wants to look and grow. I think we should follow your footsteps, so we'll have a better growth on that. Rohit sir, one question for you. So how do you feel the community building is going to be important in this growth then? Because you've seen two avenues, one scaling up a singular brand, one opening multiple brands. So for both of them, how is the community building important? Or how do you feel that the community plays a role in them defining their food, or the community is the one that drives them to get the food across to that location?
I think in current times, especially with social media proliferating as strongly as it is, people look for assignment. People look to be associated with a particular brand. Over a period of time, food can be a little commoditized. It's a harsh reality that we know of. But you need certain cheerleaders who can go proliferate your brand, who can talk about the fact that this brand stands for a certain thing, whether it's a set of ethos, whether it's a set of products. At the end of the day, your marketing rupees and dollars can only carry you that far. But if you want sustained traction, where the word of mouth can actually sort of take you to the next level, it has to be on the basis of a certain community belonging. And I think all the more reason when you, as you said, address a market like Bandra, where all of a sudden if the community embraces you, you find demand coming from different pockets of the city or different pockets of the country, just because the community has spoken so much about you. So yeah, to your question, I think that today is the bedrock of any brand that aspires to grow and sort of take it to the next level.
That's nice. Nachiket, a question for you. The thing is, you are running, I think you're the one running so many kitchens, and I think you carry the highest amount of data where it comes to what is right, what is wrong. So how do you help in a brand to decide to move into the next location? Because I think you are a big guiding source when it comes to a brand wanting to expand, who are already in your cloud kitchens or in your kitchens, so-called. So how do you guide them, or what are your do's and don'ts as per you that need to be taken care when somebody wants to? Because there is a big problem, we see a sudden spike in our food growth and we all are like, let's expand. So are we being spontaneous? Are we being correct? How do you guide different owners, because I expect everybody coming up to you and asking these questions day in, day out.
So Kytchens was put together in COVID, and it's before that I ran restaurants for like multiple years. So it was an experience that, restaurateurs today are very good at controlling one location, two locations. But when you have to go to multiple locations because of the scarcity of manpower, the rents, it's always a challenge. So that's how Kytchens was born. And the idea is that we are helping you expand so that we are taking your headache away. So the two things that you concentrate on is, one is your product, which product is a hero. Like Sanjeev Kapoor's chef said also before this thing, saying that, good quality food will always take you far. So it's very important that we keep telling people who want to partner with us that you have to have the right product market fit. You have to at least have one physical location somewhere where an audience gets to experience your product. The other thing that is good for us, and because now we are 23 in Bombay and 4 in Pune, I have Naman, my co-founder, also with me, and he leads growth for us. What we have realized is that every city that you go to is become a micro market. So like they said that Bandra is a micro market. I live at Worli and I don't make it to Bandra, right? And now with multiple restaurants opening in Worli, it's a great thing for me. Bougi's come to Worli now, and that's the first time I've experienced Bougie. Like Akhil was here and Benny opened in town, and that's the first time I ate there. So people are not willing to travel today because of traffic. Like even coming here today, I left from Worli an hour and a half before I was supposed to get here. It took me longer than that to get here. So I think like the right thing to do is open in more markets, but have your own first branded outlet where recognition is there, and then expand and get your product right. And don't try to do too much. What we try to explain to brands that come to us is that if you have 100 things on your menu, there are 20 things that really drive the business or drive 80% of your business. So focus on doing those 20 rather than doing all the entire 100, because wastage is a big issue. Aggregators take a lot of percentage of your market. Marketing is another cost. There's cost involved of working with me. So you have to keep all of those things in mind and then showcase your hero product, because that's what the customer is looking for.
That's nice. Vinay sir, one question for you is, there's a lot of data right now, right? And how do we really use the data, or should we go instinctive when it comes to opening your brand or to position your brand? So since you collect data, what's your take on it?
Thank you for that. I do believe that data is something very significant today. But in terms of restaurant, how we are using that data, I guess there's a fault which is tapering down, which is not something which is looked at. But going forward, if at all you see 3 years down the lane where the industry is headed, it's headed towards the intelligence of what you do with that data. Today we are using the data in terms of on a aspect of how I can use it onto my systems to provide my technicalities taken care of, or give you a foresight about what I need to do on making a decision. It's not laid out in terms of the wider perspective where I can see the trend, how it is picking up with respect to multiple markets that it is picking up. With respect to when we are talking about growth, we have to understand that first is I have my hero product for which I have my foot in the door and have my industry looking into me, and I have my walk-ins. Now comes the next step. After you are sustainable, you are thinking of growth and scale. That's why we're planning to look into multiple outlets. We are planning to look into the trend, planning to look into the community. You're planning to look into various aspects. That's where I feel the intelligence layer in your system with what you do with the data. There are so many tech-driven softwares or ERP that you have within you. You take various aspects of POS, carriers, inventory, you have your online orders, you have your e-commerce. All this data is available readily at your fingertips. How many dashboards you can comprehend and make a sound decision out of it, it's still subjective today. The moment you are able to get a predictive analysis with this data as an intelligent layer, and it can tell you with that intelligence, which is not just looking internal with your inventory or with your stock or with your staff, with your behavior of your customer and walk-ins and the repetitiveness, you're also looking to the paradigm shifts in terms of the community which is coming in, the kind of a clock-in time which is happening, the predictive analysis with the camera feeds which takes in. There is a huge silo of data which is available for us, and what are we doing about it is very minuscule. So that's the reason in the morning topic we spoke of AI. That's where it's headed. The artificial intelligence layer is headed towards the intelligence offering towards you, and that's where it will go beyond the inventory management, beyond your regular chaos of mundaneness. You will start looking into having more markets for yourself. With just that data which is available, you will get to know and get to predict this particular demand is there in Singapore next. I'm catering in Worli here in Mumbai. Then what will I do with this data here in Mumbai, where I'm having a better trend analysis, better revenue market there? Then I can set up my next curve as to where I have to set up my business. This is something as a data we have to look into, shifting from data dynamics to intelligence dynamics.
Yeah, that's nice. I think I'm going to come back to open questions post talking to sir. Pranav sir, the question is that, you're looking at the different challenges, like you're in a different market segment by itself, you're doing something that's out of the box, like you were explaining. So how do you look at community building? Because like you said, you want people to own the restaurants that you make. So what is a differentiator according to you, whereby people are attracted or call that place their own more than you?
So, great question. You see, sometimes you have concept, then you try and create an opportunity around the concept, and sometimes you're sitting on an opportunity and the concept, you create a concept according to the opportunity. In our case, it was the latter. We were sitting on a great opportunity that came my way, where we started opening outlets within a township, within a segment, a certain community. The idea was that how do we engage the existing people living in that township? So for us, great F&B experience was a byproduct. We are in a business of creating community and engaging the community. When you do that, what happens is eventually the community takes over the ownership of that venue. When they do that, then the success of that venue they literally participate in that, right? Because we are about being a neighborhood bar, neighborhood eatery joint, neighborhood place to hang and chill. We never define ourselves to be, first of all, I never agree with this terminology called industry standard, sorry. I think every day should be creative, every day should be something new, and it is about localization, not only to the city or the state, to that 3-kilometer radius. Why can't we be that creative and go into that detailing to engage them? When you do that, the community comes together because it is about them, it is for them. We have understood the data not just in general perspective, we have gone into the depth of data of those 3-kilometer radius people who are actually living there with their kids, with their parents, the whole family, right? What they need, what they want, what is missing there. So we have for example, we have a venue in Sholapur. There was a conversation earlier on between Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. I'm telling you, I would bet everything in the smallest town, Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, they shower you with love. They are waiting for opportunities. Today, a lot of people are working hard. Both the parents are working. They don't have time. You know what they need? Curator to bring their family together and make them participate, and in some form of event, in some form of engagement, and good F&B service is a beautiful add-on to it. So that's how we see it as, that's how what we are doing. It's working well for us, hopefully.
Yeah, I think you've made it more easy for me to open up the question to the other panelists here. So like sir is doing it in a format that he's running community-based and they are running with data. So, I understand data is very important. So how important is data for you in your format? And how do you guys, each of you, again, it's open to all. And based on data, is community building a first step for brand building, or you feel brand building ends up into community? Because there are two of the same coin, right? Both sides of the coin, that either it's community building brings your brand or brand is building your community.
I think they work parallelly. While you're building a brand, community building happens alongside the brand building. And of course, data plays a crucial role in every decision that is taken, be it for something that has or hasn't worked in the past, and even predicting what your consumer may want in the future.
So I think it's open to all. I think if you will, their point of view.
My thought process is a little bit different, and because like you said that I have a couple of brands rather than one brand, although data is definitely important, but for me right now, it is more for brand building, and data is of no use if your brand has no value, right? So if you have zero footfall or you have less footfall, or your traction is less, whether that's online or offline, there's not much. Data is a piece of paper then. So it's only if you're really making a good amount of buzz and you have a line outside your premises is when your data is valuable. So in my case, I use the right side of my brain more, so it's more on the creative side and less on the number crunching. And so for me, it's more about creating that buzz and making your brand really valuable, and then also looking at data along with that. So for me, it's more for that, yeah.
So adding to that, when you're saying that yes, it is important, but not the first step, but can that data not be collected to guide somebody who's doing something wrong?
So see, F&B hospitality has got a lot of touch and feel, right? So a piece of paper is not going to help you as much as when you're actually on floor. So I'm a big believer of being on floor, speaking to people, dirtying my hands and getting data from actual face value than from number crunching. Again, I'm not taking it away that it's not important, but
that's not the basis of
yeah. So number crunching is good when you look at the business aspect of maybe food cost or how much money you make and all of that. But you're not going to make money if you don't give them a good experience and you do good brand building. That's my thought process. Yeah.
Nice. Nachiket, one question for you based on this. Like they are in the front end and they have that experience to create. But when it comes to a cloud, how do you help to generate that experience? Because everything is a photograph, everything is a Zomato. So how does that move?
Firstly, I would answer the earlier question, which is where you said, is it brand or community you have to build? I think more than brand or community, they will follow if you have a good product and a good experience. I think product is key. So even offline or online, when we are even doing online, like if you give a good experience, like we recently came across a brand in Delhi called Inoki. And actually my co-founder went and met them and they're coming to Bombay with us. But their packaging is like a celebration, which is what even he was saying. When the product comes to you, you feel like, you're celebrating something. It's individual boxes, the way the sauces are packed, the way it's labeled. If you see the way sort of Coco in Bombay does their food packaging. So when the experience of the food coming home, or even Bombay Sweet Shop, and we work with them a lot also, everything is like a celebration. So when that product reaches home, when you see the product, you are sort of, 30% the battle is won there, as compared to, disheveled bags and plastic bags, or, package leaking stuff like that. We work with a brand called The Whole Truth, which is, whey protein and protein shakes. But now we do protein shakes for them. And the amount of effort that they have put into the insulated bag, the label, people don't mind spending the money when you can give the experience, because everything is you're choosing of an app. So when the product comes to you and when you see the product, that's when you decide sort of how good it looks, and that sort of entices you to order it again. Similarly, if you see a good package going in a building to somebody's house, you'll be like, hey, what brand is that? Like, I would also want to try it, because it's the experience that they're getting, that, it's premium, it's luxury, the product is good. Data is great, yes. And, we use data a lot in our business because, we have to plan for a lot of festivities. So in summer, we have to work a lot with our ice cream brand, because we work with close to 15-20 ice cream brands on, how to give them more space, how to maintain, the product, the sanctity of the product going out. When Diwali comes in, we have to work with a lot of like a Bombay Sweet Shop or a Parsi Dairy Farm or a Brijwasi on how much to scale more mithai, right? When it's winter time, what kind of products make sense? So there are different facets where we use data in terms of, what kind of manpower will be required, how do we need to sort of, use them, how much product the brand needs to send to us to avoid wastages. So we use data in those aspects a lot with our brands. So yes, data is important, but I think product and experience are the two things that are driving forces. Even like he said, he's creating individual brands, but every brand is a thought process. Every brand is a product, right? So I think product and experience is the key, and then data will help on that. But additionally, data for every brand is different, right? So there is no relevance of one brand's data to the other. Yes, you can say this neighbor is great for ice cream, or this neighbor is good for Asia. But what in that Asian will work? What is the spice level? What is the taste profile? What is the spending capacity of the audience is very different for every brand. So, data is good for an individual brand to use themselves rather than, use a process.
Okay, thanks. So the next thing that I want to understand is, like we are saying, data is so important. So if somebody is opening a new brand or has a new idea, when is the right time for him to start collecting data or start his journey on evaluating the data? Because if there is a spike, should he move into expansion? How is data going to help define whether it is the right time to expand, or is a gut feel that we should look at today?
Basically, if at all you look at data, first thing is we think data as analytics, which will be needed for you to scale. The fact of the matter here is anything is data. For that matter, you're understanding the experience of the customer. That's a data feed for you. You're understanding whether they liked your food. That's a data for you. In terms of you getting to know whether your food is making what kind of tide in the evenings and what kind of footfalls you're having. This is the data for you, which is needed for you to understand whether you're doing good or not. So having access to something which is mappable is very crucial for any business. For that matter, now I am a IC or an individual contributor, or for that matter, I am a person who is into food industry and I am a chef. And for me, recipe is everything. That's where we all started off. Maybe 30 years ago when we said 70s, there was some taste. Even today, that taste continues and everybody looks forward for nostalgia in terms of finding that taste. that continues, but the industry is not such. Well, today, everything is cost functional, right? Today, I'm a person who's running a bakery. I have a vending machine. I have something else, a supermarket attached to it. There are multiple various cross-selling happening. So when we are into cross-selling, when we are trying to map, even to understand what is my hero product, when I'm having 5 recipes, which is the recipe which is getting the maximum traction, the data is very crucial. So when this kind of understanding on a holistic level, we have a clarity of what data is serving me as an end output. Then you can classify which data is prominent for you, which data is transactional for you, and which data will give you a scope for your scaling or your growth. Then you'll be able to make sound decisions in terms of understanding, should I have it now? Should I have it at a phase state at a later state? Considering your intent of how fast you want to scale or how fast you want to understand the trend and the metrics. So that is where you have to make a distinction in terms of what is your appetite for your growth. At the same time, what is the traction that you can handle as a business? That's where data comes in, and in terms of whether it is immediately when you start it off or at a later stage.
Thanks. Anybody else?
I come from banking. We lived in, we used to breed data. For an industry like finance, data is still a lot easier. I'm yet to find a person who per se has an allergy to money. I'm yet to figure out a person who doesn't like money on one day and likes it on the other day. With food, the layers of data can be so impactful, especially in a country like India. We have seasons. There's certain things that we eat on certain days. There's certain ways we celebrate our food. So our brains have limited processing capacity. How do we know when, a certain product or a certain dish kicks off at a certain time of the year? Over a period of time, I can say, running one shop, I can say that, a certain customer likes a certain thing. But if I want to scale it up, very honestly, I need data to back it. I need to know there is a certain customer who prefers a certain type of milk. There's a certain customer who likes coming on a particular day. And going back to your question, if I want to form a community, I need to understand those nuances. At the end of the day, we can only have so many smart people occupying individual seats in our respective cafes or restaurants. But if you want to scale it, if you want to have micro communities brewing in every outlet, very honestly, data will be the only power multiplier that we have. So I think that's a critical element. As I said, that human touch and feels critical, but having the base layer to help you achieve your heart into it, I think there's a core data element which is very critical.
That's very well framed. I just have one more thing to add to that is, in this scenario, then when we are scaling up, first the king is the SOP, right? But how do you make sure the SOPs are being implemented? Because as the data can surely tell you this is happening, you can enter or feed in a recipe to be made in this format, train your people. But on floor, how do you maintain or how do you get that assurity that you're getting somewhere close to it every time? So because the guest is going to come once, either he likes your food or he rejects you. So you don't have a second chance, because in today's market, there's so much variety available. Then how do we make sure the plates that we are serving are replicated correctly? That's again open to all, sir.
So, couple of things to it. Number one is, of course, your SOPs have to be strong. And I think in today's day and age, I think there's so many great platforms that help you do it, that help you standardize your recipes, that help you with your wastage, pilferage, that helps you with, it's literally plug and play, you can say that. And they do assist a lot to a certain extent. In our case, because I think everyone has their own method, and there is no wrong and right question here, right? What we do is we have a great corporate team, because our business model is such that we are expanding, we are adding new venues every 20 days to 30 days, and pan-India, not just in one location. So I had built a corporate team and a ground recce team in-house in a way, because it's a continuity for us. So it was easy for me to do that. So that helps me. My recce team knows that, okay, we are going to be opening this outlet around in this quarter. They start doing the ground recce of what kind of people, what kind of basic learning, how many universities, colleges around, what kind of young crowd is it, what kind of sports they're into, things like that. So that helps. That's data.
Yeah.
That helps us take decision. Okay, good to go. Let's expand. Second form of data is your SOPs, your back-end operation. I think a lot of platforms and systems help do that. And till today we have not perfected it, and I don't think we're going to be perfecting it anytime sooner, because with every opening, no matter how many times me and my team, we all sit and like, now we've done it so many times, we know it all, now it's just going to be a plug and play. Day one has always been the same chaos, same laugh at the same time, and no improvement has happened there. But as far as quality of food is concerned, so I'm also a chef by profession, not that I commercially cook myself. I like the one thing that's raised a point. I think data-driven operations can be data-driven, but business is passion-driven primarily, right? That passion comes into play, and you can't define because everyone's passion is different. So in my case, because I'm a foodie, it's very close to me, and we never serve anything in any restaurant, not a single dish, unless and until I've had that 5 to 6 times myself, passed it, and then I have my another layers of tasting. When I go through that for every single item, even if it's just French fries. So like that passion comes into play, so that helps also with the consistency. So
That's great. You guys?
So I think been a very interesting insight. For each one of us, data has played a different role.
Yeah.
Of course, passion and brand building is at the heart of running a restaurant. When we opened our first outlet, the first year, every single day of the 365 days, I was there on the floor. So at that time, maybe data reliance wasn't as important. Gut feelings, consumer feedback on ground, all of that played an important role. But the minute we went from one outlet to the next, all hell started to break loose in terms of expanding the same experience, the same product to another location. At that time, data, at that time, SOPs, everything became important. The minute we started to expand further, we realized multiple things. For example, we realized in a bakery patisserie, 60% of our revenue was actually coming in from pickups or takeaway sales or deliveries. So we didn't need as large as a format or as many as seats to cater to that. Coming to repeat rates again, when you're expanding a same brand from say 40 seats or 50 seats to 1,000 seats over the years to come, repeat rate becomes essential for you. You have a limited consumer base in a particular area, and when you start to open multiple outlets, cannibalization even internally for a brand happens. So it's important to track that. And of course, SOPs, recipes, if the recipes are being followed or not, if there's a variation in those recipes, there's only data that can actually tell you sitting at the back. Sitting in a Delhi, running a restaurant in a Mumbai without data becomes extremely hard for us.
Yeah.
So you actually asked a very important question that, again, because we're serving food and beverage, that how do you make sure that the taste is good today and tomorrow and a week later? And like he said, if you're sitting in Delhi, how do you do quality check from there for a restaurant in Bombay? And I mean, SOP is important, and the chefs follow it to the T, but end of the day, they're human, right? So if they've had a bad day, it's possible that if they had a fight at home, they'll add some extra chili in their food. So you can't really do much about it because we're all humans, we're not ChatGPT. And AI, I don't think so can replace chefs. So that's good for you anyway. But one thing that I feel, you hire the best. And if you can't hire the best, then you source it from the best. So I know a lot of restaurants and hotels that want to get some headache off their head. So instead of, hiring chefs and people and doing the quality check headache, might as well source it from another space, So you for example, a lot of people, so I have a kitchen wherein I supply frozen dumplings and Asian solutions to about 100 restaurants and hotels. So the headache of the restaurant serving it goes away completely. So many restaurants and or bars, they for example, bars also, people go in there to drink mainly, and so it doesn't make sense for you to hire a bakery chef, but you have to keep a dessert on the menu. So what do? You outsource it. So again, if you can't do it yourself, give it to somebody, outsource it, and then the SOP will be maintained by them and will be good for you. So if you can't do it yourself, just hire just source it. It's fine. Yeah.
I think that's something that the industry started now, and people need to start accepting it more, that everything you cannot make the best. At times you need to leave it to somebody else to carry it on. You keep your core, and then you can have these add-ons as and when required. Yes, please.
Yeah. So basically, when you're saying something like, what has worked for us as an industry and for a restaurant, what has worked for us as a restaurant, we at TechCounter, we actually have seen certain case studies where primarily you have a product which is very good or a dish which is very good. You as a chef, you would have been passionate about it. You would have gone about selling it, and it would have done wonders for you. But there are certain seepages, there are certain things which are concerning, which are for your day-to-day operations, say for that matter, billing, or the TAT time for your turnaround time of your captains, or your kitchen to billing desk gaps. These are the things where it gets piled up over a period of time. So your main focus in what you intend to do as your core activity gets down. So that's when you start seeking support from the data. That's when you start seeking support from the software. You can which will take care of those aspects which is not your core, it's a peripheral. But it is very crucial for you to make your revenue. Without that, you cannot run a business. You can still run a recipe, you can still offer something as a product. But product is again two-dimensional. What you feel as the taste is really good. My product is really amazing. I've tasted this. I know this. That is one dimension to it. The other dimension is what is the absorption rate from the customer, whether they have liked it, whether the right kind of a crowd is coming into my restaurant, they have accepted it. How do you map it? How do you understand the dynamics of what is that dish which gets ordered every time there is a footfall, there is a festival, what kind of a dish goes in, what kind of a season attracts what kind of a culinary. So all these things are getting mapped, which may not be your forte for that matter. When you think, nobody thinks like I'll own a business of restaurant. Everybody will be passionate saying that, I like cooking, I like taste, I understand taste. That's why I want to be in this industry. It's not like, there is a lot of money, I want to be in this industry for money. None of them will agree to that. The whole point is, now how do you make this, the taste turning into a good revenue churning machine? That's where you need the dynamics of data in terms of mapping up everything which is explicit, coming onto your level, and what is implicit to the taste which you have. You bring onto the level of, making into a, the thin line which you can map and take it forward. That's very crucial. That's what I feel.
Just wanted to add to how to expand and keep the quality in check is, I think in future, the F&B industry is growing so much. And I think the most difficult challenge moving forward will be skilled labor, skilled manpower. So we have now started, it's in the planning stage. So now we are trying to build our own in-house hospitality training module, cooking school and all that. So that not only that we can back our own venture, but back other restaurants also. So I think the training module and the training of skillful labor is the future, and future where the businesses can sustain expansion growth. So that's a very important key point, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's the backbone to run. If you don't have people on floor, how will you run the show?
Because culture is important, right? Every concept has a different culture. So I want people to join me with the mindset and the culture that we represent, not something else, right? So it's important. So that training can only be done in-house. That we're going to start focusing on that now a lot.
Okay. That's great. Just an additional question. I think all of us here, all of you guys here are all experienced, but when there's a newcomer who has just started his first restaurant, and in the first 6 months, people start coming and telling him, no, you're doing fantastically well, you should open one more. I think you guys must have all faced it. How do you really decide whether the market is pushing you to open the restaurant in a second location or expand, or you're doing it because your business is ready for it or not? How does somebody define his readiness to expansion? Since you guys already have enough and more in your belt, so something for somebody who's getting in new into it, how does he know he's ready for expansion? Because it's a gut feeling, but still there's a big confusion because the world is telling you expand. So how do you really know whether you should start or not?
I think I fell for that trap. the world was telling me to expand. I went ahead and opened a second outlet. But the minute I did that, the minute my core team's attention was now split across 2 outlets, everything broke completely loose. It was very hard to get all of that back on ground together. So I'd say before listening to the market, before listening to your own gut feeling, make sure that your SOPs, your entire approach is completely streamlined to be able to operate another outlet. Yeah.
I mean, it is tough for a newcomer, and then you do get carried away because there's so much of chaos around your brand, there's so much of noise. But you as a business owner should understand if your brand is scalable also or not. There have been so many brands that have come in that I've seen that are in trend now. And, like how you watch a reel on Instagram, you spend less than 5 seconds on it. And trending restaurants are those kind of places wherein you shouldn't actually put your foot in or your money. There were these Nitro ice cream. There's no one who owns one right now. That you eat a biscuit and smoke comes out. It's a gimmick, right? So how often are you going to do it? How often are you going to eat a dairy milk where smoke comes out of your mouth? It's just one time. If I'm a magician and I show you a trick, the same trick twice, you'll be like, dude, just get out of here, right? So I mean, if your gut tells you that this is scalable, and if it is a classic restaurant, there's no messing around happening, I don't think there's a problem to scale. 6 months is a little early. You should let at least your honeymoon period and another further more time go ahead, and then probably look at opening another one. But while doing that, make sure that the brand or the hero product is a timeless product, because being timeless is very important, right? So you don't want to open a real restaurant wherein you go in once and you swipe up and you're done with it. So very important.
Great. Just to add to that, primarily the right point for you to look into the second restaurant will be when you are able to replicate what is happening inside your restaurant for which your crowd is coming to you. So the moment for you to understand all the dynamics of what all is working for me, mapping that and making sure that that element stays constant in your second outlet or your third outlet. If at all you don't have that clarity as to what is that which is accepted and this is a standard for my restaurant for which people are walking in towards my restaurant, if without the clarity you opening the second one just because there is scale, there is much of revenue happening here, so I can go for the second outlet, it's not going to help you in terms of sustenance. So you have to first primarily understand the dynamics of what is that which is working for me, for which everybody are connected to this particular restaurant. What is my hero element within, be it your culture, be it the way you greet people, be it the way your taste of certain food items are, be it the way your ambience looks like. There are very subtle nuances that which people decide whether to go to a restaurant or not. So there may be a certain turn down. Your taste may be amazing, but the way the restaurant smells is not something which they like. They will not walk in the second time. So if at all you think my footfall is good, I'm going to open the second one, and the areas is not as per your liking or the kind of a lifestyle which people walk into your restaurant in the particular area. You don't have that kind of a lifestyle in the second area, and you have not mapped that it's a lifestyle which works out having that kind of a footfall. Then again, you're going to miss out on the entire curve of revenue. So it's very important for you to map up all the factors which are very crucial for you to run your entity which is working really well in one unit. That's very crucial.
Fine.
In addition to all of the things that every colleague has said, I think it's a combination of 3 things as well. One is your own maturity as an entrepreneur. Because some market and 5 friends come and tell me that you should open one more, and if I end up doing that, that's me just being a bad entrepreneur, to be honest. And then second point is your concept. What was the concept that you started your venture with? Maybe there is a cloud kitchen concept, and the cloud kitchen concept is successful only when you open 15, 16, 17 cloud kitchen, right? If you open one and you wait till maybe to have your own learning, again, it depends on the concept. So it depends. Then third is your resources. Now I can sit and dream about, I want to open 20 outlets or 10 outlets. What kind of resources and backing do I have? Money is just one. Okay, let's say even if you are funded, money is not the solution to all problems, right? Again, your resources, your team, do you have the manpower to execute it? Do you have the right channels, right data, right platforms, right partnerships, right associations, right supply chain? All the things are there. So all these three, it's a combination of all these three things, and to each it every concept is different to whatever they are positioning they are sitting on. So it's like that. Only on the basis of that you can take a call.
I think that's great. I think everybody's given different insights to the same. So I think we are on the same platform as the end goal, but everybody has their own journey to take,